So Alma, the main character of your new novel, is a strong woman, like all women in your stories, in your novels. You yourself are a strong, independent woman. Was this always the case?
For me? Yes. I was very young. I was a child. And I was very rebellious, I was a challenging child. And, I grew up in the house of my grandfather with my uncles, my brothers, my grandfather, all males. And my mother who was a very young woman with 3 children, no money, no husband, living under the roof of her father, receiving some allowance from her father who paid the bills. But she never had any money, and she never had any power, any freedom. Because she was a woman, she couldn't even date with all the eyes looking at her, So I realized very young that my mother was a victim. And the males in the family were very privileged. I didn't want to be like my mother. I wanted to be like the males.
You have founded a foundation, the Isabel Allende Foundation. And with your money, you help women to get independent.
Well, we live in a patriarchy. So the world is organized around male values. We already know that empowering women can change the society and can change the world. However, not enough is done in that sense. So that's why my foundation, the mission of my foundation is empowerment of women and girls.
Yes.
Because if we educate women, if we give them resources so that they can work and make a living, then you have women who are freer and who will raise their children in a different way. They will educate their children and they will feed their children differently.
And your daughter-in-law, Laurie,
runs the foundation, runs my life.
Runs also your foundation. And one time a year, you invite the women, as I remember, into your house.
But once a year, we choose a theme. For example, family planning or refugees or trafficking, human trafficking. Whatever the issue is of the year, we give one big award. And then we give it to an organization that is working in that sense, and we invite them to my house. And it's usually very emotional, really emotional. Last year, it was about trafficking. So we invited women who had been prostituted in the streets by these gangs, and it was really wonderful because I remember one person, she was a black woman, very small, full of scars. She had been beaten up, she had knife scars, bullet scars, and very shy. She didn't have a voice, she wouldn't talk at all. That was last year. This year there was a party in which we invited and they came for another, it was a fundraiser for this organization that has grown a lot, and they want to buy a piece of land where they can build something. And she came, and she was the spokesperson. She came dressed in bright colors, and she was the one who exposed the whole thing.
Wow.
In a year, you had a completely different human being.
Wow.
So that's what you can do with very little money and a big heart.